The surge in violent crime in the Twin Cities also impacts the suburbs, who have seen spikes in violent crime as well. I spoke with District 1 Commissioner Jeff Lunde, who also serves as Chair of Public Safety for the Hennepin County Board, for today's Newsmakers. Let's jump right in. Violent crime is on the rise in the suburbs as well as in Minneapolis, as we know. What's the county doing about it?
I think the county took some time to put some investment into, what can we do? One of the ways we can do is help fund some violence interrupters. We can find mental health trauma experts to help with people who are victimized. Also trying to help find ways that we can intervene in the lives of the people who are being affected, so that if it's youth, are there other opportunities that we can get them into? And so we're trying to put funding to try to really focus in on that. And we also did something a little unique. We actually put a lot of money into public defender's office because of the backlog of cases. The linchpin was that there wasn't enough public defenders. So we want to make sure people, if they're involved with the court system, they have, justice delayed is justice denied. And so we're trying to fix that.
All right, what's the timeline for all of this actually getting passed, signed, and rolling out?
Yeah, it happened in an immediate resolution, which means that 1 week.
All right.
And then the money is starting to hit the street, as I like to call it. In other words, getting to where it needs to go, not sitting in a bureaucrat's office, but actually getting out there and being put to use. And that's what it needs to be. It had to happen right away. And so it should be starting to flow. In fact, it is in certain aspects. But we're working with partners, working with people actually doing the work now. We're not asking people to stand up something. We're actually saying we want to invest in organizations that are doing things.
All right. And how are you guys going to judge the results, or how much success that you have?
Yeah, and I think the money's actually timed to go out for over 2 years. It just had to start. And so I think the results are going to start to see, are we going to expect violence to all of a sudden go down and everybody gets to pat themselves on the back? No. But we can start to see some residual, because a lot of the violence it follows other violence. And we're trying to get in the middle of that and kind of slow stuff down, including like having things at North Memorial Hospital, HCMC, where when there's a victim of a gunshot, friends and family show up and they're angry, right? And so that anger sometimes manifests itself into, let's get back at them. And so we've got interrupters there to try to say, take a moment, let's just let that moment happen and try to stop that cycle. And so we're hoping to see things like that, but most of it, we want to help victims too.
All right. And some of this money is allocated for Brooklyn Center. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've got some money in Brooklyn Center for trauma. After Dante Wright's murder, we knew that people there across from the police department especially were, the unrest. And so we had to help them as well. And then in Brooklyn Park, we've got, 63rd and Zane, which has kind of been a focal point between two gangs, trying to put interrupters in there to help out.
All right. Have high hopes for the interrupters?
I do. And I think this is real stuff. It's not that feel good, pat ourselves on the back stuff that I personally hate. It's about getting money to people who are doing the work out
in the
with
trenches.
Those people. Yes, and if that money is out there, we know that it'll have a positive effect. Not sitting there to make us, not a public campaign to put billboards up somewhere. We're like, get people out there. A lot of these are former gang members. Let's pay them to do this work, because we're asking them to help with public safety. So let's invest in them.
All right, we'll be watching to see how it goes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.